Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Newsroom. I'm Chella Smith with your Middle East U.S. entertainment news here on YouTube. I air on Fridays, bringing you the latest on reforms and economics of Iraq based on reports put out by the Middle East news media outlets. I do this weekly review and it's based off my interests. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. Last week, we talked about oil cuts, currency fluctuations, and the road to the revaluation. Rising economic tensions aimed at global and regional pressures. Let's take a look at this week's headlines. The central bank plans to expand its I Spend For You campaign over 2 months, promoting financial knowledge among the public. The campaign will spread in southern Providence, focusing on awareness and education. The campaign's outputs are diverse, with the most important efforts being field efforts to cooperation with financial and public institutions. The campaign's scope will be wider and more comprehensive. Trump's Iran strategy. President Trump has reinstated the maximum pressure strategy against Iran through executive order signed on February 10th, 2025. This move has raised concern for Iraq, especially with the potential of reassignment of the U.S. troops withdrawal agreement and the impacts of the renewed U.S. sanctions targeting Iran. Iraq's resilience on the U.S. waivers for more important Iranian gas and electricity is at risk, impacting 31% of its power generation. Additionally, Iraq's financial system faces scrutiny to prevent sanctions invasions by Iran. The U.S. dollar remains essential for Iraq's oil revenues and foreign reserves, with 90.2% of reserves exposed to dollar-based systems. As Iraq navigates these complex relationships, the need to manage its dependence on the U.S. dollar becomes increasingly urgent. This next article was written back in January by Iraqi Business News. They conducted an online survey aimed at gathering opinions about the potential revaluation of the Iraqi dinar following the inauguration of U.S. President Donald Trump. It's important to note that this survey wasn't scientific. The participants were self-selected, which introduces a high risk of sampling bias. However, it did not highlight that within the dinar speculation community, there was some traction around the idea that Trump's presidency could influence the Iraqi dinar's value. Surprisingly, over half of the respondents anticipated that Iraqi dinar would appreciate by at least 1,000 times within the first 100 days of Trump's term. These charts here on the screen illustrate their responses. Now, more than 2 months into this period, there has been no action or statement from Trump that supports the speculation, despite false claims circulating online. Instead of accepting that their investment may not yield the extraordinary return they'd hoped for, many speculators often refer to them as dinarians, continue to bolster one another's beliefs on the various online forums, dismissing logical arguments that challenge their views. This was reported by the Iraqi Business News. Now, we go over this on Patreon, why we think that Iraq still has many more steps to go. We also go over this on our news here every Friday. Now, we believe here in the newsroom that taxes and tariffs still need to be ironed out. However, they've been started. We need to see reforms and banking reforms. You can't have this going international, these types of problems. We need the restructuring of the Rapidan and Rashid Bank, the important laws, the rest of the corrupt files exposed, the consensus, public entering the digital platforms, electronic platforms, and the digital currencies. There's still many more steps that have been started. However, it's just my opinion. What's your thoughts? Drop your comments in the comment section below. We'd like to hear from you here in the newsroom. Speaking about Rapidan Bank and Rashid Bank, Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani held a meeting to review the reform process for Rapidan Bank and Rashid Bank, with Ernst & Young's representative present. The decision focused on aligning operations with international standards, addressing debt repayment mechanisms, and enhancing staff training. The Prime Minister directed banking reforms, instructing bank management to develop modernization strategies, and reviewed process of Rapidan First Bank. The stock exchange update. The Iraqi Stock Exchange, the ISX, has announced several key developments involving the listed companies. The National Bank of Iraq held its annual general meeting, the AGM, on March 27th, approving a capital increase from IQD 400 billion to IQD 520 billion through a 30% bonus issue. Shareholders will receive cash dividends of 0.20 IQD per share, reflecting a 4.9 dividends yield. Al Mazor Bank successfully completed a capital increase to IQD $445 billion through a 26.78% bonus issuing, while the Investment Bank of Iraq completed its capital increase to IQD $288 billion with a 11.998 bonus issue. The Iraqi Security Commission granted Al Taif Islamic Bank a 4-month extension starting March 12 to add new shares from the capital increase through a 20% rights issue, bringing a total capital to the IQD $300 billion. Hammurabi Commercial Bank will begin trading in the over-the-counter OTC market on April 7th after completing procedures to register shareholders and deposits over 43% of the company's capital. The sales of Al Mansour Pharmaceutical Industries additionally has 2.56 billion shares has been successfully completed. The ISX suspended trading on the first issuance of BENA bonds starting March 27th due to the semi-annual interest distribution. Resumptions and suspensions. Iraqi agriculture product will resume trading on April 6th following the AGMs on February 29th, where the sales of its property in Baghdad and its plans to restart suspension projects was approved. Regional Trade Bank resumed on March 27th after the AGM approved capital increase of IQD $400 billion through the 14.29 bonus issue. Siham Bank resumed trading on March 25th with the capital increase of IQD $400 billion through a 6.8 rights issue on a 5.9 bonus issue. The ISX will suspend Al Mazor Hotels from trading on May 4th ahead of its May 7th AGM to discuss the 2023 financial dividends distribution and potential investment innovation. The National Bank of Iraq was suspended from trading starting March 24th due to its AGM schedule for March 27th to discuss the 2024 financial capital increases, branch expansions, and board elections. The National Islamic Bank was also suspended on March 24th for its AGM held on March 27th due to 2024 financial and approved a capital increase of IQD $400 billion. These latest highlights are ongoing growth and structuring efforts with Iraq's banking and industrial sector reflecting continued investor interest and economic activities of the Iraqi Stock Exchange. Iraq's Ministry of Oil has signed a memorandum of understanding with Americans University to enhance cooperation in training and education, supporting the development of technical engineering and the administration personnel for the optimal oil sector management. The Iraqi Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani has overseen the signing of major oil development agreements between Iraqi Ministry of Oil and BP. This deal targets boosting productions across the 4 key oil fields in Kirkuk to 420,000 barrels per day. Additionally, it includes plans to produce 400 million standard cubic feet of gas daily and build a 400 megawatt power plant to enhance Iraq's energy infrastructure. This project aims to reduce gas flaring, improve sustainability, and create new jobs in the energy sector. This strategic agreement marks another significant step in Iraq's economic developments. And lastly, but not least, and you can find more articles on Patreon that never make it to YouTube, let's talk about the dinar recovery. Economic advisor Samir al-Nazari reaffirms his forecast of Iraq's strong 2025 economy, backed by over $108 billion in foreign reserves and 163 tons of gold. He highlighted the recovering dinar and the central bank progress is in banking reforms, digital transformation, and international compliance, with 20 banks now handling direct foreign transfers to a global banking system. Al-Nazari discussed fears of prolonged exchange rate crisis, attributing stability to the central bank policy. He calls for the continued evaluation and reforms to strengthen the banking sector and drive economic growth. Sounds very, very promising. And you've been watching Newsroom Weekly Review. I'm Chella Smith with your Middle East U.S. entertainment news on reforms and economics of Iraq, bringing you all the latest Dinar news without having to keep up with all the different outlets. I'm here on YouTube every Friday, so don't forget to subscribe and turn those notification bells on. If you like our content, give us a thumbs up. If you really like our content, you can always see a super chat or a super thanks in the comment section below. Again, thank you for being a subscriber, and thank you for visiting Newsroom Chella Smith for your trusted Dinar news. So I'll see you guys next week. Take care. Make sure you join us Fridays, 4 p.m. with Newsroom Updates with Chella Smith, Entertainment News.